Your income doesn't come in 12 equal boxes. It lands in a lump in March, a trickle in April, and nothing at all in May. Almost every budgeting rule you've ever heard was written for a person who gets the same number every 2 weeks. You don't. Here are 9 things nobody tells freelancers, contractors, and commission earners about running money that refuses to sit still. 1. Averaging your income is how you go broke on a good year. You made $70,000 last year. Divide by 12, that's $5,800 a month. Feels responsible. It's also fiction. Here's what you actually did. You took that $5,800 number, built a budget around it, and started spending it in January, before January had earned a cent of it. January brought in $1,200. February brought in $9,400. On paper, you averaged fine. In your checking account, you were $4,600 underwater for 6 straight weeks before the good month arrived to bail you out. An average is a description of a year. It is not a description of a Tuesday. Your rent doesn't care what you'll average by December. It wants its number on the 1st, out of whatever actually landed by the 1st. Here's the part nobody mentions. The average isn't wrong, it's just late. It tells you what you had, after the fact. You need a number that works before the fact, built from the months that actually showed up light, not the one that makes the spreadsheet look calm. Protocol. Pull your last 12 months of actual deposits. Don't average them. Rank them low to high. You'll use that ranked list in the next module. The average goes in the trash. The rule: budget the income you had, not the income you hope for. Pull up your last 12 months of deposits right now before you close this tab. 2. Budget your worst month, not your best one. Look at that ranked list from Module 1. Somewhere near the bottom sits a number you'd rather forget. That number is your budget. Most people do the opposite. They anchor to a good month, the one where a big client paid or commission hit, and quietly assume that's the new normal. Then a normal month shows up, feels like a failure, and gets treated like an emergency instead of what it actually is: Tuesday. The mechanic is almost insultingly simple. Take your lowest earning month from the past 12, say $2,400. That's your baseline budget. Every fixed cost, every recurring bill, every must-happen line item has to fit inside $2,400. If it doesn't fit, it's not a fixed cost. It's a want wearing a fixed costs jacket. Here's the turn. This isn't pessimism, it's insurance. In a month where you make $2,400, you're on budget, not in crisis. In a month where you make $6,000, the extra $3,600 isn't income, it's surplus. And surplus behaves completely differently than income does. We'll get to that in Module 8. Protocol. Find your actual lowest month from the past year. Rebuild your fixed costs to fit inside it on paper this week before you touch a single account. The rule: budget the income you had, not the income you hope for. Circle your lowest month on that list. That's today's budget number, not a future one. 3. Your expenses don't take turns waiting for your income. Rent doesn't check your invoice status before it's due. Neither does your phone bill, your car payment, or your kids' tuition. They all show up on their own schedule, indifferent to yours. Here's how you currently handle this. Whatever bill is loudest gets paid first. Rent, because eviction is scary. Then whatever auto-pay fires next. Groceries get whatever's left, and savings gets whatever's left after that, which on an irregular income is frequently nothing and sometimes negative. The fix borrows a structure that's older than budgeting apps. Pay for survival before you pay for comfort. Housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments, that tier gets funded first, completely, before a single dollar moves anywhere else. Not because subscriptions and takeout don't matter, because if the power gets shut off, nothing else you budgeted for matters at all. Here's the part that trips people up. This isn't about cutting the second tier. It's about sequencing it. Same expenses, different order, and suddenly a slow month doesn't mean a missed rent payment. It means a skipped restaurant month. Protocol: write your fixed costs in 2 tiers. Survival, then everything else. Fund Tier 1 in full before Tier 2 gets $1, starting with your next deposit. The rule: pay in the order things break, not the order they arrive. Write your 2 tiers right now. Survival, then everything else. 2 minutes, not 2 days. 4. You need an account that pays you, not one that pays your bills. Right now, your business income and your personal spending money are probably the same pile. A client pays into your checking account, and by Thursday, that money has already been rent, groceries, and a client dinner, with no line between "the business made this" and "I get to spend this." This is the same problem as Rule 2, wearing different clothes. You're still reacting to whatever landed this week instead of running off a number you control. The mechanic: open a second account. Every dollar of income lands there first, untouched. From that account, you pay yourself the exact same number every single month. Your Rule 2 baseline, say $2,400, on the same date, like a paycheck. The rest stays in the holding account as a buffer for the months that come in under baseline. Here's the turn. This converts an irregular income into a regular one, at the point where it actually matters. Your checking account. The business can still be chaos. Your personal budget doesn't have to know that. Protocol: open a second account this week, even if you fund it with $50 to start. Route the next payment you receive through it before it touches your spending money. The rule: pay yourself on a schedule, not on a whim. Open the second account today, even if you fund it with $50 to start. 5. A bill you forgot about isn't a bill you dodged. Irregular income comes with irregular timing everywhere else, too. A quarterly insurance payment, an annual software renewal, a biannual car registration. None of these show up monthly, so none of them show up in your head monthly, until the month they're due, which always seems to land on your worst earning month of the year. You don't budget for these because you don't see them. No line item, no warning, nothing on the calendar until the charge hits and eats a chunk of a month you'd already stretched thin. Silence from a bill doesn't mean it's handled. It usually means it's coming. This is exactly the problem I built MoneyFlow to solve. You log a bill once with its real frequency, quarterly, annual, whatever it is, and it reminds you before the charge lands instead of after. Links in the description. Here's the actual trick: app or no app. A bill with no reminder isn't absent, it's just unbudgeted. The fix isn't remembering harder. It's writing every irregular bill down somewhere that doesn't rely on your memory in the first place. Protocol: list every bill that isn't monthly. Insurance, registration, subscriptions billed annually. Note the month each one hits. Put that list somewhere you'll actually see it before the charge does. The rule? Track what's coming, not what already happened. List every non-monthly bill right now, before you forget it again by tomorrow. 6. Debt doesn't care that your income does. A fixed monthly payment on a variable monthly income is where irregular earners get quietly crushed. The payment doesn't flex. Some months it's easy. Some months it's the whole reason the survival tier from Rule 3 doesn't fit. Here's what usually happens instead of a plan. You pay minimums when money's tight, throw extra at it when money's loose, and never actually know if you're making progress or just treading water. There's no date attached to any of it. Just a balance that goes up sometimes and down sometimes, with no sense of when it ends. The mechanic is a date, not a discipline. Take your current balance, your interest rate, and your baseline monthly payment, the one that fits inside your worst month from Rule 2, and calculate the actual month and year it hits zero at that pace. Not someday. A date. Here's the turn. Extra payments in your good months don't just shrink the balance, they move that date closer, visibly. That's a very different feeling than an anonymous number falling slowly. One is progress. The other is dread with extra steps. Protocol. Calculate your real payoff date at your current baseline payment. Write it down somewhere you'll see it. The rule. Attach a date to the debt, not just a payment. Calculate your real payoff date right now, not after you finish watching. 7. A subscription doesn't check your balance before it charges you. $9.99 doesn't feel like anything. It shows up, it's gone, life continues. That's exactly the design. No single subscription is ever the villain on your bank statement, which is precisely why nobody catches the 6 of them running at once. You evaluate these one at a time, monthly, in isolation. It's basically $10. Correct? And also irrelevant, because $10 isn't the number that matters on an irregular income. The number that matters is what all of them together have pulled out of you since the day you signed up, during your good months and your bad ones alike, whether you used any of them that week or not. Run the math once. 5 subscriptions averaging $14 each, running for 2 years, is over $1,600. On a steady paycheck, that's an annoyance. On an income where a slow month means choosing between tiers from Rule 3, that's a survival tier expense being quietly funded by comfort tier spending you forgot existed. Here's the turn. The monthly number is designed to feel small. The cumulative number is the only one that's honest. Protocol. List every subscription and multiply each by the number of months you've had it. Cancel the ones that don't survive seeing that total. The rule. Judge the total, not the monthly charge. Add up every subscription's total cost since day 1, right now, not the monthly number. 8. One good month funds 3 bad ones, if you let it. A $9,000 month feels like permission. New equipment, a trip, a nicer dinner out. You earned it. The money's right there. 3 weeks later, a $1,800 month arrives. And suddenly you're covering rent with a credit card, wondering where the good month went. This is the direct cost of skipping Rule 4. Without a separate holding account, a big month and a normal month look identical in your checking account. Just numbers, spendable the moment they land. Nothing marks the surplus as different from the baseline, so nothing stops it from being spent like the baseline. The mechanic. Anything above your Rule 2 number in any month isn't income. It's buffer. It goes straight into the holding account from Rule 4, untouched, waiting for the next month that comes in under baseline. That's its entire job. Not funding a better lifestyle this month, funding the exact same lifestyle 3 months from now, when the client goes quiet. Here's the turn. This is the same discipline as Rule 2, just running in reverse. Rule 2 protects you from a low month by budgeting small. Rule 8 protects you from a low month by not spending big. Protocol. Next time a payment exceeds your baseline, move everything above it into your buffer account before you make a single plan for it. The rule: treat the surplus like insurance, not income. If a payment landed above baseline this month, move the extra into buffer now. 9. Your income was never the scoreboard. Every rule so far has been about smoothing the noise. Averages, baselines, sequencing, buffers, dates, totals. All of it in service of one number people almost never check: what you're actually worth, month over month, regardless of what any single month paid you. Here's why the income number keeps you anxious. It moves, wildly, monthly, for reasons often outside your control. Client timelines, seasons, a slow quarter that has nothing to do with your effort. Track that number and you're tracking chaos. And chaos feels like failure even when nothing's actually wrong. Net worth doesn't do that. It's assets minus debt, checked monthly. And it moves in one direction over time if the 8 rules before this one are running. Baseline spending, sequenced bills, a buffer absorbing the bad months, debt with a date attached, subscriptions judged honestly. A $1,200 month and a $9,000 month can produce the exact same net worth trend, because the buffer already did the smoothing your bank account never could. Here's the actual trick, and it's the one that makes the other 8 make sense. Stop grading yourself on what landed this month. Start grading yourself on the line that only goes up when the whole system, not just the paycheck, is working. Protocol. Calculate your net worth once this week. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Check it again in 30 days. That number, not this month's income, is the one worth watching. The rule: track what you're keeping, not what you're earning. Calculate your net worth right now. One number, today, not someday. 9 rules. Stop budgeting the average. Budget the worst month. Sequence your bills by what actually breaks. Pay yourself on a schedule. Track what's coming instead of what already happened. Attach a date to your debt. Judge subscriptions by their total, not their monthly charge. Treat surplus like insurance, and watch net worth instead of income. None of these require your income to change. They require your system to stop reacting to it. I built MoneyFlow to log all of this by hand, no bank link required, so a slow month never disappears into guesswork. Links below if you want it. Either way, track the line that actually tells the truth.